Welcome and thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. Today's lifestyle is literally killing people. Stress, sleep deprivation, environmental toxins, soils void of vital minerals and enzymes take a major toll on our health. Processed foods, for instance, lack the nutrients we need to prevent oxidation within our body, which leads to damaged cells, tissues, and organs. What is one to do with the busy lifestyle that we have this day and age? Well, the first thing we certainly could do is learn to slow down a little bit, not be so busy, grabbing things on the go. This can't be good for the body as well as our health over the long term. And the other thing, too, is to find opportunities that we may be able to replace the nutrients we're unable to get through the fast food that we tend to find ourselves reaching for, and be able to rebuild and replace at a cellular level to create optimum health and well-being. Joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program today are two very special guests joining us to talk about ways that we can actually improve and maintain our health through three simple modalities that we can follow. They're both representatives of a company known as Kyani, and they're going to tell us more about what this is and what it'll do for you. I'd like to welcome to the Beyond 50 radio program today our guests, Mary Louise Zeller and John Paul. Thank you both for being here on the program today.
You're most welcome. It's certainly my privilege.
Is there another one there?
John Paul? He was here just a minute ago.
Well, we'll go ahead and let you go ahead and take the lead here, Mary. Now, first of all, what is Kyani exactly?
Well, Kyani is the name of a marketing company out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, Kyani International. We're in 65 countries around the world and expanding very rapidly because our products are in a market of thousands of health supplements. Some of them good, some of them downright dangerous. And I'm a biologist by education and experience, and also I've been a world-class athlete. I'm a 6th degree black belt in Olympic sport, Taekwondo. I won U.S. Nationals 20 years running and was a 9-time world champion. So I use that passion for supplementation and the science behind it, and have written a book on the subject about supplementation, natural supplementation, for, of course, health to start with, and anti-aging, given I'm now 71 years old, and high performance. I'm still interested in high performance. I was on U.S. National Technique and Forms team in Taekwondo when I was 67, and only stopped because of a back surgery. But I have studied supplementation for health and high performance for 45 years, and in all of my career I've never seen this kind of science behind health supplements, literally over 150,000 studies over the last 20 years, and as much real result in the human body. And with all due respect to science, these three products Kyani calls the Triangle of Health are literally an innovation or a breakthrough. And I actually mean that like the advent of antibiotics changed the future of human health. These three products are literally changing the biochemistry of disease and aging in the human body, especially cardiovascular health and brain health, which runs the whole system.
Now, it's pretty fascinating to know about your background because for you, obviously, having optimum health, being a 6th degree black belt, an Olympian, that's very important for you to be able to, have very improved health. Now, how did you come across this particular company here, and what appealed to you about them in such a way that you decided to put your endorsement behind them the way that you have?
Well, a friend, of course. He and I were co-authors on that book, Secrets of the Fountain of Youth, and he's a 65-year-old world-class runner. He's run 100 miles a week, if you can believe anybody would do that. I think he's crazy. I just kick people in the head. But anyways, he called me 6.5 years ago because that's what we did. Anytime, we've been friends 20 years, and anytime we found a supplement that really made a difference. So he called me a couple days after Christmas 2008, told me about Kyani, and I whipped my credit card out and bought the products. And within 4 days, the knee pain that I'd had for 10 years was gone, and it hasn't returned. I just simply was walking up the stairs and it's like, my knees don't hurt. And they haven't hurt. I've been blessed with health. At 71 years old, I have a perfect lipid profile. I have perfect biochemistries. And I have a body without pain even after back surgery. The products dramatically, and as proven in laboratory studies, independent laboratory studies, reduce inflammation in the body, which is the number one cause of disease and rapid aging in the body. And it reduces inflammation by 95%. And, that's all well and good to read, but when your body doesn't hurt, that's more important. And that's what I have. And I suffered with migraine headaches most of my adult life. And since I started on the products, I've not had one. Now I travel the world with my background in science and sports, and I teach people about these products. And everywhere I go, people stand up who are type 2 diabetics, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, all telling me, and people with migraine headaches, and people with fibromyalgia, and people with autoimmune disease, people with arthritis, and telling me how all of these symptoms are diminishing and totally disappearing in their bodies, and that they feel years younger. And that's really my commitment. I want to have health with every breath of life. This deterioration as people age. Most people my age are on 15 to 20 medications, and they get sicker every year. So I am really, that's my passion. This is not just a business for me. It's my passion to really make a difference in the quality of life. And these three products, they call the Triangle of Health. It's the first protocol I've ever seen with these results in my entire life, and backed by mainstream science.
Now, talk about the kind of research that's being done with, for instance, the ingredients in this Triangle of Health that you've been describing.
Okay, so there are three products. One of them is a super food nutrition with an ORAC value of 130,000. This is the wild Alaskan blueberry. Comes from a tundra of tens of thousands of acres where temperatures go 100 degrees below zero. In the winter, maybe 3 months without sun, and in the summer, the reverse. They have 3 months, 24 hours a day of sun. If you took a blueberry bush from the lower 48 up there, it wouldn't survive 1 year. It would not have adapted, whereas this wild Alaskan blueberry adapted over millennia. It's the only fruit that grows in this entire region. And so it has special adaptogenic quality. We're never going to escape stress, but we can escape the damage that stress does at the cell level. And that's what an adaptogenic product will do. And then it's a super antioxidant. We know how important that is. Number 2 cause of disease and aging in the human body happens to be free radical damage, and we just simply don't have, we have only 25% of the nutrition in our food, as tested in independent studies too, than what we had 60 years ago. So only 25% of the vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. So we do need to supplement, and this is a super supplement. And along with the wild Alaskan blueberry, number 1 ingredient, they searched the world, and they brought in 22 other superfoods. We've heard of acai, mangosteen, maybe some we haven't heard of, goji, maki berry, amla berry, and herbs from all over the world, and vegetables too. And so it's a 1 ounce a day, super concentrated, super nutrition that gives energy at the cell level without stimulation, without sugar, or any of that stuff. And then the next 2 products, I'm going to say the first one is superfood nutrition. I'll say the second 2 are literally a breakthrough in human health. One of them is based on the wild Alaskan sockeye salmon. We need that omega-3. For brain function, for cardiovascular function, and this is pure. Alaska is some of the coldest, purest water left on Earth, guaranteed to be heavy metal free. So it's very pure, very potent. Sunset, you take 3 capsules in the evening. Sunrise, you take the 1 ounce in the morning. And so that, again, would be super nutrition that your body needs. But they have put in there not only food-based, beta-carotene, vitamin A, are lipid-soluble vitamins, and vitamin D3, very important, again, to the immune system. But they've also put in order to prevent the oxidation of the fish oil, from a plant seed down in Ecuador called the annatto bush plant. This plant seed is the only to date discovered source of pure isolated tocotrienol, 90% the delta fraction, 10% the gamma, the two most powerful fractions. Those are fractions of vitamin E. Vitamin E is tocopherols, 4 fractions, tocotrienols, 4 fractions, alpha, beta, delta, gamma. But the tocotrienol, if it is isolated, especially the delta fraction, of which this is pure, it actually lowers LDL cholesterol, triglycerides, much more effective, up to 70% more effective than medications, allopathic medications, which all have life-threatening side effects and then destroy function as they're killing you. But this does with 0 side effects, totally plant-sourced, reducing that LDL cholesterol, raising the HDL like it should be, so promoting cardiovascular health. Also, the tocotrienols prevent cell damage from radiation, another huge concern in the world today. I mean, not just radiation from nuclear spills, but radiation from your cell phone, from your TV, from your microwave, from your computer you're in front of all day long. You know, that kind of radiation. So you're protecting the cells from that damage from radiation. You're not going to escape the radiation like stress. But then also the way in which a cancerous tumor grows is a process of rapid blood vessel stimulation and formation. And that's how a tumor, which its sole purpose is to grow very rapidly and usurp the function of the organ in which it exists. And that process is called angiogenesis. Well, tocotrienols, like I said, in thousands, tens of thousands of research studies have been identified as powerful anti-angiogenic agents. This study is coming out in mainstream science, like the Journal of American Medical Association, and they're actually reducing tumor size in some of the most aggressive tumors in the human body, and it is very cheap, and it does no damage to the body, and it brings it back to healthy function and prevents that rapid blood vessel growth and reverses it. Now, you would theorize, quite logically, if you could reverse the angiogenic process, you could prevent it. And in today's world, where 1 out of 2 American men will have cancer in their lifetime and 1 out of 3 women, that's a very important conversation. So when I began to read this science, I was wowed. I was like, oh my gosh, what do we have here? We've got some of the foremost scientists in the country in this company because of these products. Dr. Claire Francomano, who was Chief of Genetics and Anti-Aging Research at the U.S. National Institutes of Health, an MD, graduated from Johns Hopkins, top of her class. She was chief of the project team that mapped the human genome. That's like splitting the atom. That only happens once, like discovering flight. You know, she's that kind of person, and she's done most of the white papers, the Reader's Digest condensed version of the science. You can go to Kyani, and it is Kyani. It's a Tlingit Indian tribe word that means strong medicine in their language. They don't have a word in their language for cancer, heart disease, heart attack, because it doesn't exist for them. And they drew researchers coming up there for the last 20 years to Alaska, to this tundra, and studying these people. They thought maybe they have a genetic difference that they don't have cancer. But it wasn't. It was the wild Alaskan blueberry, the wild Alaskan sockeye salmon, the main ingredient of 2 of our products. Then the third product, Kyani Nitro FX and Nitro Extreme, which is a stronger, what you call high-performance product. This is also plant-based. They saw with the noni fruit, 25, 30 years ago, it was raising nitric oxide levels in the body. Now, I'm a biologist. Most people don't remember high school biology, the nitrogen cycle of life. You can live 5 minutes without oxygen. You can't live 1 second without nitric oxide. It literally is the molecule of life, and that phrase was coined by Columbia University. All cell function, the repair, the defense, the maintenance, the function of every single cell and system in your body depends on the presence of nitric oxide. But just like human growth hormone, after the age of 25, the ripe old age of 25, you are on the decline phase of life, what they call the catabolic phase of life, and every decade after the age of 25, your body, which nitric oxide is produced in every single cell of your body, it's going to produce 10 to 15% less. And the function of nitric oxide, it's associated with cardiovascular health. There was a Nobel Prize given in 1998 for that discovery. And so literally it opens, very simplistic speaking, it expands circulation. It's a your blood vessel dilator. It opens circulation. It reduces inflammation. So the inflammation is what causes that plaque buildup on the interior walls of your arteries. So it begins to reduce that. You see your arteries begin to function and work along with your heart to pump the blood. Blood pressure goes down. So it is fundamental, directly related to cardiovascular health. What the Nobel Prize was is that if you have low levels of nitric oxide, some people genetically do. The black race has a sickle cell anemia where their red blood cells are like a little half moon. What they don't produce enough of is nitric oxide. There are studies going on right now that have already demonstrated it is elevating nitric oxide levels in their body. That is life. That's extended life. Many of these people, if it's diagnosed as a teenager, they won't live to see their 40th birthday. They will die with cardiovascular disease. Nitric oxide is fundamental to cardiovascular health. With this normal diminishment of production over your lifetime. That's why older people have cardiovascular disease. If you naturally have high levels, conversely, you could live to 100, your heart just takes its last beat, you don't die with a heart attack, you don't have heart disease. It is directly related to cardiovascular health. But it's also a signaling molecule, a neurotransmitter. Every single cell and system in your body communicates as a unified organism through neurotransmission. Every thought that happens in your brain. Notice I'm 71 years old. I don't have senior moments. My mother did. She died with Alzheimer's. I began counting the times at 60 years old because it was happening to me. And that's what happened to my mother until she couldn't even speak. And mine was increasing. When I went on these products, that stopped. I don't even think about it anymore. I don't have senior moments. My brain works. And that's what nitric oxide does. That's why they call it the molecule of life. That cell communication is fundamental to brain function too, which is why older people, as you diminish production, you will have those senior moments until you have now what's even called early onset dementia. As early as 40 years old, we're seeing people with that brain dysfunction, and more and more and more people. When I was a young girl, I'm 71, I never heard the word Alzheimer's until I was about 25 years old. 1 in 1,000 people. Now, you could argue for diagnostic methods are far more sophisticated. We just thought the people were old. But it wasn't like that when I was a young girl. Older people were sharper at canasta bridge than you were. So it wasn't like that. And now 1 in 8 will have Alzheimer's. And that's a horrible, horrible thing. I have the mother of a friend of mine has been 10 years in a hospital, Alzheimer's hospital, doesn't know the moon is the moon, doesn't know her children. 10 years of her life, she is not related to who she is as a person and the rest of her life, her children, her family. Horrible, horrible way to pass our existence. So that's why I'm so passionate about these products. They're doing studies with Alzheimer's. They're showing improvement in brain function in people with Alzheimer's. So these 3 products, working synergistically together, providing results in the human body I have never before seen in my lifetime, and backed by tens of thousands of research projects. And we have medical doctors, typically in the U.S., medical doctors have not been open-minded about using supplementation. They just simply were not taught that. And now you're seeing them use it. Why? Because they're reversing all this cardiovascular malfunction and brain malfunction, and they're seeing the benefits. They're seeing diabetics with neuropathy actually diminish until it disappears. There was just recently a type 2 diabetic who had a leg ulcer, huge, like maybe 10 centimeters across, and it didn't heal for 8 years, had all this necrotic or dead tissue around it, and within a week, the necrosis was almost gone. And, we've got pictures of these things being sent to us that, that doesn't happen. And so that's why we're here talking about this. I would say over 50, absolutely. You can maintain your health, cardiovascular and brain health, all of your life. You can maintain function. Who wants to lose the ability to do everything you love to do? I've been a world-class athlete my entire life. And the thought of, I don't know, being in some adult high chair drooling the last 10 years of your life is not very appealing to me. So I just simply, decline to decline. I'm not going to participate in the decline of aging. And Kyani's 3 products, the Triangle of Health, is the first thing I've seen in my lifetime that actually are reversing that decline of aging and the subsequent breakdown of every system in your body.
Now,
how about that?
Yeah, pretty good. That sounds like quite a bit there, and you certainly covered a lot of ground. I believe we've got John Paul here on the line. John, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. Mary's covered a heck of a lot of ground here, so why don't you go ahead and share your story and how you came to know this company here?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. And my story, my time with Kyani started about 9 or 10 months ago in November of last year, and to be honest, it kind of began far before that. And I spent a few years serving in the United States Marine Corps, and I was actually medically retired from the Marine Corps because of some chronic health issues that I had developed during my service. And I had several surgeries, and I was on 8 or 9 different medications, battling things like chronic pain and some chronic sinus issues and asthma. And I was 23 years old and taking all those medications. I felt like I was my grandparents. I had one of those pill medication dividers for every day of the week, and I'd pop Monday open and take the 8 or 9 different meds, and I still wasn't feeling 100%, and that's what really got me into looking into natural supplements and natural ways to try to battle some of these things, and I tried some things, and some things worked, some didn't, and then kind of fast forwarding to October of last year, I was introduced to Kyani through a friend. This friend didn't know of my health issues because I keep those things to myself, but I said I'd give it a try, and within just a few days I started to notice a difference. I was sleeping better at night, and over the course of a couple of months, I was able to get off of 7 of those medications, and I was starting to get my life back. Like I said, I was a young guy, and I'm 26 now, so I'm probably much younger than a lot of the listeners, but I now feel like I'm a 26-year-old, and I have 2 little boys, a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old, and I have the energy and health to be able to play with them and enjoy time with my family, and that's what this is all about, and that's why I'm excited to share Kyani with everybody here in the Northwest and throughout the world.
Now, tell us, for whoever wants to take this one, what are the standards that are used in the production and quality of producing this?
Well, I'll speak to that. We have Pharmaceutical Grade. I don't know if you've heard of Biobotanica. Has a long-standing reputation of being a pharmaceutical grade facility. So our bottling and formulating is done there. The 2 of our products come from that tundra in Alaska, and the products are actually harvested there and sent to this pharmaceutical grade facility and formulated there. We have world-class formulators, Dr. Abbas Kutab, who's an MD, PhD in biochemistry. He's one of the formulators of the nitric oxide precursor product, that stimulates your own body to takes these plant nitrates and produces nitric oxide, and he's the formulator of that. And then we have a Dr. Claire Francomano, and Dr. Kutab also works with the formulation of the Sunrise product, and then Dr. Barry Tan, who's a PhD biochemist, is the formulator of the Kyani Sunset product, and he is most known for his research in the tocotrienols. In fact, he travels the world doing symposia for medical doctors on the benefits of tocotrienols, and has written, there's a 900-page book that they use in medical schools, and he's a contributor to that book and all those studies. So does that pretty much handle that for you?
I think it does. I mean, you've certainly, like I said, you've covered quite a bit of ground here. And John, did you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'd be happy to add just a little bit to that, and that this is something I enjoy talking to people about, and just Kyani take quality control and the standards and production of these products very seriously, and they oversee every detail of the production and follow the ingredients from bush, ocean, or tree to the consumer's hands. And the ingredients are tested, retested, and retested again to ensure that they have the highest possible quality. And Mary Louise touched a little bit about the type of facilities we use and to ensure that quality is the best. But it also comes from, our products also come from really good quality places. And again, Mary Louise talked about how the wild Alaskan blueberry comes from the Alaskan tundra. Well, it doesn't just come from the tundra. The place that these wild Alaskan blueberries come from is actually the largest piece of organic soil in the entire world. And it goes beyond the USDA standards. This piece of land is, like I said, it's organic, and there's no pesticides that are used or have ever been used in this soil, and it's far removed from any roads and industrial areas, so you're not getting any of that acid rain and all those things that get into the soil. So in the end, you're getting a truly wild organic product that is able to provide the body with all these nutrients and fight the cardiovascular disease, the inflammation, and all the things that are causing major chronic disease in our bodies today.
It's also fascinating, and it's really encouraging to hear the two of you so passionate about helping people to improve their health as well as changing lives, and I'm sure that you've changed a lot of lives out there for the better as you've been out there with this work. Can you give out a way online people can connect with you folks?
John Paul,
Absolutely.
Do you want to do that?
Sure. Yes, absolutely. There's a few ways to connect with us, and one way is we have a small, I guess you could say, advertisement in the Beyond 50 newsletter that's going out to all of the listeners on here, and in that ad there is our contact information. There's a link to Kyani Science, which is kyaniscience.com, which is where you can find all of the scientific information that backs our products, and you can learn about the doctors and our scientific advisory board on there, and then also there's a link to how you can purchase, and obviously we're always open to talking to people on the phone or by email, and we're happy to provide that if you need to get in contact with us.
Yeah, my email is actually Mary Louise, MaryLouise, Zeller, Z like zebra, ELLER @gmail.com. And you could go to kyaniscience.com, and there's lots of videos with the formulators and information there.
Well, Mary and John, I'd like to thank both of you for sharing your passion here with our audience today, and I'm sure that many people are going to be connecting and seeing their lives improve by getting to know you two and taking the next steps necessary. Thank you again for being here on the Beyond 50 radio program.
Well, thanks for being the forum in which we can magnify making a difference with these products and getting out to the people something that actually works and is safe, so and makes that kind of difference. So thank you for the opportunity for us to bring Kyani to more people.
You betcha. Thank both of you again for being on the program today. We want to also thank the listeners out there. You can discover more by visiting us at Beyond50Radio.com. That is the number 50. Also sign up for a free weekly e-newsletter. I'm Daniel Davis. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Beyond 50 radio program. And remember, live your day past halfway.